Hey, this is Corey Knight with Classroom Tech Made Simple, and I'm so excited to share with you the new iOS 11 updates and the great productivity things that you can do using this new update. There's a lot to go over, and for this video, what we're going to do is we're going to go over specifically the new home screen, the new dock. We're going to take a look at the control center, and then some things that you can do with the installed browser, Safari. We'll have a later video about how to use the drag and drop feature, the Files app, and different tips that you can use your iPad for to become more productive in the classroom. As always, I would suggest that you teach out these different apps and these different tips and tricks to your students to help make them more productive in the classroom and everything that they do. Okay, so let's go ahead and start by talking about the new home screen. After you update your iPad, you're going to notice that you're able to put a lot more apps in the dock below. If you want to edit that dock, you just grab one of these icons and you can bring it right to your normal screen on your iPad. If I want to put it back, I just drag it right back down to my dock. So that's one of the cool features right there. You'll notice at the bottom that there is a line on the right hand side. Those are my most recent apps, and it's even suggested apps that my iPad has suggested that I might need to be using here based on my current use. So that's something that you can turn off if you'd like. So if you want to turn that off, you just go to Settings, and then you click on General, and then you go to Multitasking and Dock. And then right here where it says Show Suggested and Recent Apps. If you click that off, it turns that off for you. Okay, so before we get started with anything else, I want to make sure you guys all understand how to create folders. You can see in the upper left-hand corner that I have a productivity folder, and that's so easy to make, and it really helps organize your iPad. I suggest that you have students do this because it's going to benefit them. If they have apps specific for one class or one subject, you may want them to put them in a folder. So you can do this just by holding onto the app, and then once they start showing this little X and they start wiggling. That's what my nephew says. He says the apps are wiggling. One time he grabbed my phone and he said, "Look, Uncle Corey's apps are wiggling." Right then and there, I grabbed it real quick because I was scared that he was going to start deleting all my stuff. So then when they're wiggling like that, you just drag it over just like that. And then if I want to title this something else, I can title it whatever I want. So that is a great feature that has been available on the iPad for a long time. But it's just going to make you more productive, and it's going to help you keep everything a little bit more organized on your iPad. When they start wiggling like that, and they start moving, at the bottom right-hand corner where the recent and suggested apps are, I can actually get rid of those just like that, so that it just brings up my current dock. And I'm going to hit the home button right here, and you can see that it has stopped moving. Okay, so let's continue forward with the control center. From the home screen, you can either swipe up or you can double click. I just swiped up and you can see that this is completely different than what it was in iOS 10. Now you can see all of my recent apps that I have open. And if I ever want to close those apps, I always suggest to my students that if they're not using an app, just go ahead and close it out, because it's going to start taking up a little bit more computing power of the iPad, because it will always be running in the background. And you don't want to waste that battery power. So you can see right here, I just swipe up and it's going to close that app out completely. If ever I want to go to one of those apps, I just click it and it'll take me there. So I'm going to double click to go back to where I was. I double click the home button. Let's talk about that control center on the right. I know that's a little bit different than what we've used in the past, but it really is an awesome feature. Okay, so let's start with these controls right here. This is going to be your screen adjustment. So if you want it to be a little bit brighter, you just move it up just like a slider. Your volume, same thing. And then you have a music app right there if ever you want to play music. It's loading there. If I hold this down, it'll show me exactly what's playing, and it just gives me a little bit better of a feel just from there. To close that out, I'm just going to tap off that screen right there. So now we have a few more preloaded, installed, customized parts of the control center. So before we get into how we can customize the control center, let's talk about what these are here at the top of the control center. So this is obviously your Wi-Fi. I just held on this and it opens it up and it gives you the titles of it. So you can see that it's on my Wi-Fi right now. If I want to connect my Bluetooth, the airplane mode, and then AirDrop. So the airplane mode, it's just going to kind of shut everything down and save battery. You really don't need to use it unless you're obviously on an airplane or you're trying to save battery for whatever reason. The Bluetooth is going to be necessary with certain apps. It just depends on what you're doing. If you're trying to share stuff wirelessly, or sometimes I'll just turn it on. If I'm using it on my Apple TV, I really don't know if that's going to be beneficial to actually connecting to an Apple TV, but sometimes I'll do that if I'm having trouble with my iPad connecting to my Apple TV. Okay, so if you click on the AirDrop, it then gives you those different options. If you want to receive those files wirelessly, if you want to receive those files from contacts only or everyone. So let me show you real quick how AirDrop works. I'm going to just click on everyone. And if you want to share anything, say that you have a photo. So I'm going to just drag this down. This is another cool feature that's always been there, but it's something, if you're new to an iPad, you may not know. What I just did is I just drug down from the top and I can search anything. I can search the web. I can search any app. So say I'm looking for my photos here. All right, so I've got this screenshot right here of Quizlet that I was using for a different tutorial. And say I want to share this. So I hit this share button right up here. This is the box with the little arrow. And you can see that it has selected that photo. So I have different options available down here where if I want to duplicate it, I can assign it to a contact. I can hide it. I can use it as wallpaper. I can add it to an album if I want to create an album. I can copy it, print it, slideshow, or even AirPlay it. Okay, so at the top you can see where it says AirDrop. It says share instantly with people nearby. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually turn the AirDrop on my phone, and I turn it on to everyone. And you can see right there that I can share this picture just by clicking on that button. And I get a little icon on my phone, and I have to accept that photo. And there I go. I've got this instant image just like that. It's on my phone right now. What a cool feature. Sharing photos wirelessly, sharing images, sharing any documents. Pretty cool. So that's how the AirDrop works. Okay, back to the home screen and back to the control center. We're going to talk now about how to customize the control center. Okay, so going back to the control center, I'm either going to swipe up or double click the home button to go back to that home screen. Over there you can see that I have my lock screen if I want my lock rotation on, if I want to turn my silent mode on, if I want do not disturb on, and then if I want to add anything, I'm going to have to go to the settings button. So I'm going to click the home button, go to settings, and I'm going to show you how to customize the control center to make it specific for you. So you just go to settings, and then you come over here and you click on control center, customize controls. So if I ever want to get rid of an app that is there, so like right now I have accessibility shortcuts. I don't really need that, so I'm going to remove it. But if I want to add an alarm, maybe add my camera so I can quickly access it. If I want to add the magnifier, which just uses your camera as a magnifying glass, if I want to add notes, maybe I'm doing screen recordings, I can just hit the plus button and I can switch it just like that. Pretty simple. Stopwatch, that's a big one that I like to use in class. If I give students time, I want to be able to access that really quick. So literally all you do is just hit the green plus button if you want to include it. And then if you want to get rid of it, you just hit the red minus button and then remove. And then one other thing that you can do within there, if I'm just going to add a bunch of them here. If I want to organize them in different orders, if maybe my camera is going to be the most important part that I want to add to this, then I'm just going to include that at the top. And then let's go back to the control center. You can see that it has added all of these. My camera's up here, and it gives me different options if I just hold that button down. If I want to get rid of that, I just click off of that little screen there. We're good to go. One thing that I would like to add about the control center is if you pull it up, and I know some of us have Apple TVs and other different things that we use to screencast or show the screen to our students. So if ever you want to access this, It's a little bit different than what it was in iOS 10. So if you just look right here, mine says it's actually screen mirroring my Mac. If I stop that, it's going to give me a different option, and that's where you're going to access the different Apple TVs that you want to screencast your iPad to. So that is the control center. I hope that you'll make it customizable to you. Everyone's will look different based on what you use most frequently. So that is the home screen and the control center. All right, next video, we're going to take a look at Safari and the different features that you can use from the internet to help your class and to help you be more productive as a teacher. All right, I'll see you guys next video. This is Corey Knight with Classroom Tech Made Simple.